Hi guys, today we're going to talk about how to balance your life. So in college, there's a lot of things that are vying for your attention, right? There's your majors classes, there's your gen ed classes, there's your dorm room living, there's friends, there's family, there's extracurriculars, there's sororities. A lot of you are probably going to be working while you're in college, and that's just a lot to handle in your life. And so we're going to go over a couple of ways to help you balance all of that. And really, you are not God, okay? So if you take on too much, then you won't be able to balance it. So part of this is understanding when to say no and when it is just too much. So when we think of what do I really need, how do I balance my life, we're really talking about two things. One is the time that you have. There are only 24 hours in a day, and that's usually not enough to get you to do everything that you need to do. So you need to become good stewards of your time. And number two is your energy. When we're thinking about energy, there are a lot of things that can play into it, whether it's your mental health, your physical health, the amount of sleep that you get. All of these things play into it, but really what we're aiming for is to be able to do what we can with what we have, with this limited time, with this limited energy, knowing that we need to get as much done and do as much as we can with what we have. We need to set some things higher than others, okay? So we're talking about priorities. And this is the best way to balance your life, period, okay? So when we're thinking of priorities, usually you're gonna have, your friends, your family, any obligations that you have, your work schedule, your classes, extracurriculars that you have, workout schedules, all of that can play into your priorities. And it's going to look a little bit different for each person, right? Some of you will be working, some of you won't. Some of you will have a bigger emphasis on family, some of you will have a bigger emphasis on friends. But as a rule, I've come up with a general list of priorities that you should have and the order that you should have them, just so you can start to think about, okay, what are my priorities? Who am I going to spend my time with? What am I going to do with my energy? The first thing that should be on everyone's list, no matter what, is your health. Whether that is mental or physical, you're responsible for making sure that you live, okay? And not taking care of yourself, it will affect everything else. So that should really be first and foremost on your list. The second one is your friend's health, or your family's health. No human life or human experience is worth less than anything else, okay? So all of your obligations, they stop when a friend is sick, or they at least get postponed, okay? And really, these are college-age students that you're talking about, people who have passed high school. They won't need a lot of help. If they're sick, if they're injured, it may just take popping into their room to check up on them. It may be driving them to the ER and staying with them until a family member comes or until they're ready to go home. It could be, just taking your computer into the bathroom while they're hungover and throwing up into the toilet. There are so many things that could fall into that category, but we need to make sure that we're taking care of our own. And that should always be second on our list. First is your health, second is your friends and families. The third thing for if you're going to college is your majors classes. You do not want to make a bad impression on professors in your major. Number one, because you are going to use them as references for your jobs one day. And number two, a lot of professors will teach lower class and upper class classes in your major, which means if you see them in a lower class and you give them the impression that you do not have a work ethic, that you are not there to learn, you have a great possibility of getting them when you're an upperclassman, and you do not want to have that reputation stuck in their head. So from day one, your major classes are going to get a higher priority than anything else. Next are any extracurriculars that you have that revolve around your major. So if you are a history major, your history clubs, your anthropology club, whatever, you take that and that becomes your next priority. So your major classes and then your major extracurriculars. And you're like, well, you haven't actually gone over the gen ed classes. And now you're going through extracurriculars. Why are gen ed classes lower than extracurriculars? That is a very good question and kind of a complicated answer, okay? So I want you to focus on extracurriculars that are revolved around your major because those give you friends in your major. They give you people to call with questions about homework. They give you connections with people in your industry who have already graduated. It gives you the ability to practice the language of your field with other people who know it. It gives you the ability to have stronger relationships with professors in your major, and it gives you more people to put as a reference for a job, and it gives you just overall more experience. So if you're like, I know I'm going to graduate with this major, this precise major, that's what I'm following, that's what I want to do, you start looking for extracurriculars that feed into that. Next, number 5 would be your gen ed classes. And I'm not saying these aren't important. No, definitely not. These are very important. The thing is that you should give these classes the time they deserve, but I would rather you go to a major extracurricular than read for your gen ed class, specifically because you get that experience in your extracurricular and you might meet your future boss. A lot of people have actually done that. So give the gen eds time, but also pay attention to the main goal of your profession that you are going to go into. Both are very important. Next, number 6 is any societies that you're a part of. I'm thinking more of like the fraternity, sorority type thing, but you can also put like sports in here. You can put anything that is really like a big commitment, right? Especially if you got a scholarship in there, it should definitely be in there. It should never be higher than your classes. Never higher than your classes. Even the sports where you get a scholarship, I understand that it takes up a lot of time. I understand that the sororities and the fraternities take up a lot of time. But in the end, you were there to get an education. And as much as you may not like it, you are really there to boost your profession. And the sororities and the sports might not be how you get there. Number 7, and the last one, are any other extracurriculars that you have. So if you play a recreational sport, not like a sport where you have a scholarship or sport where you're on the team, but just people getting together in a field to have fun, that's great. You should definitely do it. It's fun. That should fall away when it comes down to it. So with this priority list, you're going to stick to it. You are going to remain consistent. You say, this is my list. This is what I'm focusing on my energy. This is what I'm focusing my time on. And then just stick to it. That's how you balance your life. If you look at your calendar and you see, oh, I wanted to go to this sporting event, and I have this gen ed class that has an essay due next week, and I have this major class that has an essay due next week, the sports is going to fall off. You're going to get the major essay done first, and then you're going to focus on your gen ed essay. That shows you where you're at. That gives you the level of importance that you need to kind of sort out and balance your life, okay? You know what can drop off your to-do list. You know what calendar events you can't get done to that day, and you can kind of just exist where you need to exist. This next one, you're probably gonna laugh, but it's try not to procrastinate. And I know that sounds so bad, and really I'm not the one to tell you how to do this because I am the queen of procrastinating. But here's the thing, you have a limited amount of energy. A lot of that energy can be spent when you're stressing over things. So if you get something done that is really stressing you out, that will get you to a place where you have more energy. It's scientifically proven. You know, they say eat the frog. That's what it's called. It's whatever is your biggest thing, whatever is causing you the most stress, get it done ahead of time, and then you have that weight off your shoulders, and you don't have to carry it around. You don't have to spend the energy that it would take to bear that weight. And you can spend that energy on other things. You should always have a to-do list. If you look at my desk, I probably have at least 2 lists on my desk at all times. And it's kind of like a master list, right? So you have like, here's everything I need to get done this week, including appointments, including, calendar events, including dinner with so-and-so, including here's a sporting event that I wanted to go to. All of that is going to be in this one weekly list. And it's going to have the due dates for everything. And then in a much smaller list, I'm going to say, these are going to be my priorities for the day. And of course, they're going to follow my bigger priorities list that we already went over. Okay, and that just gives you this mindset of, I know what I'm doing. I know how to get there. I just need to sit down and do it. It just makes everything so easy when you can say, okay, I'm going to start on this. And once I get that done, I'm going to start on this, and then this, and then this. That's really your goal, so that you can just streamline your whole day. This is kind of just a general, broader, how to stay organized kind of thing. But it's really, really helpful, especially when you're talking about like balancing your life and making sure that you get a good amount of sleep, making sure that you don't waste energy on stressing out over the littlest things, okay? Before you go to bed, I want you to get everything ready for the next day. So I'm thinking any work that is due the next day, at least in the morning, if you have an afternoon class and you have homework that's due in the afternoon, you could maybe put that off. And if it's like 2 in the morning, midnight, I would definitely put it off. But try and have those early morning classes, all of their work just done. You're also going to have your outfit ready for the next day. I'm talking head to toe. You have your brush, you have any underwear you need, you have your shirt, you have your pants, you have your socks, you have your shoes right next to your socks, you have everything, and it's just in one big pile, and you can just grab it, put it on, go. If you need a lunch ready for that next day, get that lunch ready and put it in a place where you know you'll remember it. If you are a coffee drinker or a tea drinker, I want you to get everything you need to make that coffee done. So, is there water in the Keurig? Is there a coffee K-cup ready to go and I can just close the lid? Is all of that ready so that I don't even have to think about it in the morning? You need to have your backpack ready for the day. So this is where we're basically going, okay, put on my clothes, grab my backpack, grab my coffee, let's go. Do you have your toiletries ready to go to the bathroom in the morning? So can you easily pick up just one little tub, take it with you to the bathroom, brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do, and then take it back? That lowers your stress so much, and in the morning you're not going, oh my gosh, where is this? And oh my gosh, I don't have that homework done. You're just working on autopilot. You don't even have to really be awake at that point. Using these tips will help you just lower the amount of stress that you have and really show you, here's what I need to get done. Here's what I need to stress over. Here's what I don't need to stress over. Here's what I can do when I have time. And here's what I can do here's what I have to do when I don't have enough time. Okay? All of those will help you balance your life in a way that makes sense to you. So come up with your priorities list. Every semester, sit down and think, okay, what do I need to have ready every day for this semester? What is going to be my checklist? Am I going to have a lunch? Am I going to bring my coffee to class with me? I definitely need an outfit for their next day. All of those things will help you prepare yourself to just conquer life, if you will.